So when we go to name skeletal muscles, there's a couple ways you can name it. You can name the muscles based on the location, so where you find it. You can name those skeletal muscles on the insertions and the origins. The insertion is going to be the bone that moves when you contract that muscle. So all your skeletal muscle, the major function of skeletal muscle is to get shorter or to contract. So when you contract that muscle, the bone that moves is the insertion. The one that doesn't move is the origin. We can also name it based on the shape or the type of movement that it does. So here we can see the location, frontalis muscle, or the frontal belly of the occipitofrontalis muscle, depending on how you want to talk about it. We're just going to call this the frontalis muscle. It's found on the frontal bone. Here you have the rectus femoris. Femoris, because it is found in the femoral region, or above that femur. For our insertion and origins, here we're looking at the sternocleidomastoid. The sterno is talking about the sternum. The cleido is talking about your clavicle. And then you have your insertion up here on the mastoid process. So sternocleidomastoid muscle. And then we have our shape. So this muscle right here is your deltoid. And it looks like a triangle. The Greek letter that looks like a triangle is delta. And so this muscle gets its name based on that shape, that deltoid or triangular shape. Another one would be like your trapezius, looks like a trapezoid. Something else that goes with this are some of these relative terms, like rectus. If we go back to this one, you have your rectus femoris. Rectus muscles are muscles that run longitudinally on the body. So muscles that run straight up and down. So this rectus femoris is a muscle that runs up and down in the femoral region. Transverse are going to be muscles that run side to side, like your transverse plane. Oblique muscles are muscles that run at a 45-degree angle. They can run down or they can run up, either way. If they're at a 45, they're oblique. And we have some other relative terms like brevis. If you have a muscle that is a brevis muscle, it is a short muscle, like you want to keep it brief. A longus muscle is going to be the opposite. It's going to be a long muscle. Maximus is a big muscle. Medius is a middle-sized muscle. And then minimus is a little bitty muscle. So there's lots of different ways we can name them based on shape, and they're telling you what that muscle looks like. But it can also tell you what that muscle does. So here we can see extensor digitorum longus. Extensor, it's going to extend the digits, digitorum, and it's long. So it's telling you what it looks like and what it does. Here you have flexor carpi radialis. Flexor, so it's going to flex carpi, talking about your carpal bones. So it's going to flex the wrist, and it's found along the radial bone, flexor carpi radialis. And then, of course, here you have flexor carpi ulnaris doing the same thing, flexing the wrist, but on the medial side, on that ulnar side. Here's another one, tibialis anterior. This is just telling you it is anterior to the tibial bone, or the tibia. So when you're going through learning these muscle names, a lot of the times it's going to tell you where it is, or what it looks like, what's its insertion and origin, or what it does, or any combination of that. So these muscle names, if you can learn them, is going to help you